must go now. Papa!
Tiago, go with your mother to the trap. Take this. It will always be your guide.
Yes, Papa.
We will join you shortly.
Xavier, the painting.
La maledicción. This way.
Senora, it is too late. Go!
No! Papa!
Senor, in here. Search them. Of course.
Paris in the spring. Passion, romance, l'amour. I was working in art insurance. It paid the rent, just about. And then, by chance, I met Nico at a private view.
You didn't tell me that you were back in Paris, George?
We should catch up. Let's have lunch.
Nobody move!
No, monsieur, not la malédiction. Oh.
Stay back.
Once again, Paris had shown me her dark side. A brutal robbery, a senseless murder. Nico and I were about to be drawn into a new and terrifying adventure together. The gallery owner was dead. I guess sometimes playing the hero doesn't pay. My company had insured the exhibition, so I had a crime to solve. The cops would be here soon. I didn't have much time. The priest was giving last rites to the gallery owner. I didn't want to interfere. Poor guy. That bust was pretty impressive. I wondered who'd been the model. The bust was balanced precariously on the pedestal. I didn't want to knock it off. For the discerning connoisseur, a soupçon at 80,000. The door was marked private. The door was locked with a keypad. The wires from the camera ran into the room behind. It must have captured the whole robbery. If I could get the code to the keypad, I might be able to shed some light on the crime. Just 90,000 for this one. The label said it was painted in 1932. The gallery wanted 80 grand for it. A rare glimpse into the absinthe-addled mind of the artist. A snip at only 80 grand. 60,000 for a sketch? Ouch. The alarm still worked on that painting. I wondered why the stolen painting's alarm hadn't sounded. Challenging and experimental, like the 85K price tag. Another alarm working as it should. This was where the stolen painting had hung. Why that painting? And why kill for it? The stolen painting had hung here. The stolen painting was called La Maledicción, painted by someone called El Serp in 1937, and worth just 40 grand. The stolen painting was worth less than the others. So why did the thief target it? The priest was administering the last rites. Excuse me, Father.
Yes, my son.
I'm George Stobart. My company insured the exhibition.
My name is Simeon.
Is there anything I can do?
You can pray for his soul.
A senseless murder.
On the contrary, this killing makes plenty of sense.
What do you mean?
A great evil has taken place. This is the work of the devil.
What?
I am a Dominican priest. I know these things. And now, excuse me, I must pray.
1 minute I'd been planning dinner with Nico. The next I was talking art theft, murder, and the devil with a priest. There was no mistaking this body. It was Hector Lane, art critic extraordinaire. There was nothing wrong with him. He was sleeping like a baby. Though perhaps not the prettiest baby I'd ever seen. For a moment, I thought he was dead. But from the snoring, I guessed he'd only fainted. Lane had fainted. I was going to have to find a way to revive him. Lane was out cold. I was going to need something to bring him around. $70 grand? Cheap at half the price. Another working alarm. Was the alarm on the stolen painting the only one that wasn't working? The cable for the camera ran into the room marked private. The poster looked old. I didn't want to touch it. The murderer left a pizza box on the table. The thief left the pizza box behind. I wondered what was in it. Well, no surprise there. Pizza. The guy must have been hungry. There was only one slice left. The killer made a lousy pizza guy. Inside the box was a mess. No one had noticed the pizza box fall onto the floor. I decided to leave it alone. The street was quiet and upmarket. Not the kind of place for an opportunist thief. From out here, you couldn't see the stolen painting. This robbery was definitely planned. The room looked like some sort of office for the gallery. I could just see the glow of the CCTV monitor in the corner. You gotta hand it to the French. They know how to take a leak in style. I've always been a sucker for Parisian stained glass. The waiter wasn't exactly run off his feet. Excuse me.
Monsieur?
There's just been a robbery at the gallery.
Oh, really?
You don't sound surprised.
All property is theft, monsieur. And all art is property. Therefore, all art is theft. Do you not agree?
Well, when you put it like that, it's hard not to. Did you see anybody run out of the gallery earlier?
There was a beautiful woman with a camera. She was chasing somebody.
Oh, that must have been Nico.
You know her? You surprise me.
Can you tell me anything about the man she was chasing?
I assume, monsieur, that like all of us, he is inherently unknowable.
No wonder this guy's cafe was empty. The gallery owner, Henri, was shot dead trying to stop the robbery.
Life has no meaning the moment you lose the illusion of being eternal.
Right. Did you know him well?
Can we ever truly know another human being, monsieur? He spent little time at the cafe, unlike his friend, Monsieur Lane.
What do you know about Le Lizard Bleu?
It's bourgeois, vacuous, and overpriced. Just like its curator Lane. He's always in here, you know, talking art to his latest flusée.
What do you know about Hector Lane?
Lane? Oh yes. He drinks here sometimes. He slid away last night without paying.
Last night? What sort of time?
After midnight for sure. If you see him, give him this bill and tell him to pay up next time.
I wondered whether Lane was in a hurry to get somewhere or just trying to skip paying his bill. Would you like a slice of pizza?
I think not, monsieur. You must remember we are in Paris, the culinary capital of the world.
Thank you for your consistent indifference, monsieur.
Perhaps next time you come, I will give you a coffee. Perhaps not.
The menu offered black coffee and a short list of soft drinks. The Sacré-Cœur Basilica, the highest point in Paris. Impressive. For a moment, I contemplated getting on the next train out of here. But a man was dead, and I had a job to do. Father?
Yes, my son.
What did you mean when you said that a great evil had taken place?
Your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour.
What?
Peter 5:8. The devil is all around, Mr. Stobart.
Did Henri say anything before he died?
He said, "Stop the car, I want to get in."
What does that mean?
We may never know.
What brought you to the exhibition, Father?
The painting.
Which one?
La Maledictio, of course.
The painting that was stolen?
I had to confront the evil.
Do you know the code to get into the office?
No, but you could always pray and ask for divine guidance.
With respect, Father, I'm looking for a slightly quicker solution. What do you know about the man who painted La Maledictio?
El Serp. He was a man playing with fire, the fire of eternal damnation.
Tell me about the stolen painting.
Whoever gets close to it will burn in hell.
Would you like this piece of pizza?
A man has just died. No, thank you.
This is an unpaid bill from the cafe next door.
I can assure you it is not mine.
This wasn't the first time I'd looked into a dead man's eyes. I always wondered who bought those white-framed glasses. Now I knew. He definitely looked better. Poor guy. I didn't want Henri's blood on my hands. Poor guy. There was a small piece of paper in the dead man's hand. It was too intriguing not to take a look. It read, 2:30 p.m., be ready. Innocent enough, until I realized that the robbery took place at 2:30 p.m. There was something fishy going on around here, and it wasn't just the canapes. I quickly replaced the note. A small purple nozzle was poking out of his pocket. In Henri's pocket was a tiny bottle. It was a bottle of Brett. The label claimed it would wake the beast within. I didn't want Henri's blood on my hands. There was no way anyone would have survived that. Henri's glasses. I put the glasses back where they were. Best to leave the evidence the way I found it. There's nothing quite so lonely as a dead man's toupee. Here today, gone tomorrow. I decided to let Henri's toupee rest in peace. A cryptic note and a bottle of overpowering cologne. No personal effects or anything else of substance. I definitely needed to check out that office. The door was marked private. The label read, "Awaken the beast within." Well, no harm in trying.
What was that? It smells like the 70s. Where am I?
You fainted. There was a pair of nail clippers on the floor. The nail clippers were monogrammed with the letters H.L. Hector Lane. They must have fallen out of his pocket. Lane had the kind of looks that only a lifetime of fine dining can create. Welcome back to the land of the living.
I wouldn't exactly call this living. Don't just stand there. Get me something to eat. I've had a terrible shock, you know.
I found a slice of pizza.
I asked for food, boy, not a cardboard simulacrum.
Oh, okay, if you don't want it.
I didn't say that. Now give it here. Given the circumstances, that was surprisingly acceptable. Now, what's been going on? Oh, Henri, is he
Dead? Afraid so.
Poor chap. Just like him to steal the limelight, though.
Excuse me.
Do I know you?
Yes, our paths have crossed in the Glees Gallery.
Of course, the man with the absinthe. I don't suppose you...
Afraid not.
Pity. I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble remembering your name.
I'm George Stobart. I insured the exhibition.
Ha! I hope you have deep pockets then, my boy.
Could I ask you a few questions, Mr. Lane?
Fire away.
Did you know the gallery owner?
Of course. We worked together on the exhibition.
Oh, really?
Henri provided the space. I was the creative powerhouse.
How long had you known him?
As a friend, many years. Our professional relationship had only recently blossomed into this exhibition, under my curatorial wing. And now the poor fellow's gone and got himself killed.
If Lane was involved with the gallery, then he had to know the code to that door. Do you know anything about the stolen painting?
Of course, dear boy. La Maledictio, a little-known work, turned up at the last minute.
What about the killer? Were you able to get a look at him?
A delinquent in a tin hat. Beyond that, I don't really recall.
Oh, yeah, you fainted.
Those of us with a higher aesthetic are more sensitive to violence.
So you curated the exhibition? What's it about?
A brilliant retrospective. A dialectical window on European art's ongoing discourse with the unresolved psychoses of the nation-state.
Wow, you took the words right out of my mouth. So, you help run this place? Maybe you can give me the code to that door.
The code to the office?
I just thought you might have the number.
I do, but I couldn't possibly give you access before the police arrive.
I figured I wasn't going to get the door code from Lane by playing nice. I needed to turn the heat up. Mr. Lane, you're really going to have to give me the code to that door.
And why, pray, should I do that?
Because the way the cops will see it, you're the prime suspect. We both know you're innocent, Mr. Lane, but the cops, well, they may not see things so simply. I might be able to get them off your case, but in exchange, I'd like the code for the office door.
But that's preposterous. The police would have neither evidence nor motive.
Well, not yet.
Not ever. And now this inane discussion is over.
Lane was right. I had nothing to use as leverage to extract the door code. I needed to keep searching the crime scene. Spanish modernists certainly didn't come cheap. I wondered how many paintings they'd sold at these prices. I could have bought a nice car for the price of that. As they say, every artist was first an amateur. Take a look at this.
What of it?
It's your bill from the cafe next door.
So?
You sure drank a lot of champagne last night without paying the bill. But you told me that you were away from Paris last night. I hate to say it, but that sounds like a lie to me. Tell you what, you give me the code to the door and the police need never know.
This is ridiculous. You have no motive and nothing that connects me to the crime.
Have it your way. I will get that code. Are these your nail clippers?
Of course. See, they're monogrammed with my initials.
It was my phone, mankind's most treasured possession. Lane's nail clippers. The initials HL were engraved on them. Ah, Brett, the fragrance that dare not speak its name. Father?
Yes, my son.
Do you know anything else about El Serp?
I've already told you everything I can.
Is there anything else you can tell me about La Maledictio?
I've said everything I care to on the subject.
Hey, Father, how about a squirt?
I think not.
Do you recognize these?
Nail clippers? I'm not sure what your point is.
I wondered if there was anything out here I could use to put the heat on Lane. It looked like the office for the gallery. Hi, it's me again.
You assume, monsieur, that it was you last time.
Anything else you can tell me about Le Lézard Bleu?
Rien, monsieur.
So you and Lane aren't best of pals, huh?
The man is a second-rate critic peddling meaningless aphorisms.
Would you like a squirt of this?
Are you suggesting I smell, monsieur?
No, sorry. Do you recognize these?
They are nail clippers.
Thank you for your time, monsieur. There was nothing to show what just happened inside the gallery, apart from the body. The poster looked old. I didn't want to touch it. The stolen painting had an alarm, which should have sounded when the painting was removed. I needed to find out why it hadn't. I pressed the vibration detector pad. Nothing happened. I pressed the vibration detector pad. Nothing happened. It was the speaker cone for the alarm. It hadn't sounded when the painting was stolen. Looked fine to me. That wasn't the reason the alarm didn't go off. So, the alarm wasn't broken. I suspected foul play. So that was why the alarm hadn't sounded. A wire had been cut by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. This was an inside job. The pressure pad appeared to be working fine, but the cut wire had ensured that the alarm wouldn't sound when the painting was removed. It was the speaker cone for the alarm. It hadn't sounded when the painting was stolen. You've already told me one lie, Mr. Lane. You give me the code, and I won't tell the police about the phony alibi.
No, I refuse. You have nothing substantive to connect me to this crime.
Someone sabotaged the alarm on the stolen painting. A wire was cut.
What? Who could have got into the alarm system?
Exactly. It was an inside job, Mr. Lane.
You're not suggesting that I...
Well, I'm afraid that's the way the cops are going to see it.
That's preposterous. How could I possibly have cut the wire?
An unusual painting turns up at your exhibition and gets stolen. Doesn't look good, does it?
And your point is?
The cops are going to ask some awkward questions. But you give me the code to the CCTV room, and I'll do my best to point them elsewhere.
I cannot let you into that room, Mr. Stobart. Besides, Henri found La Malédiction, not me. I had nothing to do with it.
I hate to say this, Mr. Lane, but you're going to be the #1 suspect for this murder.
So you keep saying, Mr. Stobart.
How about some more of this?
I don't think so. As a sel volatile, it was acceptable. As a cologne, it would be barbaric.
Are these your nail clippers, Mr. Lane?
Yes, they have my initials monogrammed on them.
Huh. The perfect implement for cutting the alarm on the stolen painting.
What are you saying?
Well, the alarm was sabotaged, Mr. Lane. It was an inside job.
Are you accusing me? How dare you?
Now, I believe you. I absolutely do. But will the police? You have the motive. There's the evidence. Evidence of sabotage, along with the gaping hole in your alibi. Look, give me the code for the office, and I can make your problems disappear.
You, sir, are a blackmailer.
Yep, got it in one.
The number is 6397. But your accusations have absolutely no substance.
I had the code. The police would be here any moment, so I had to work fast. What was that number again? 64...
Everyone, hold it right there.
Damn it.
I am Inspector Navet of the Paris Serious Crime Squad, and I hereby declare this crime scene open. Closed. Now, nobody move, especially you on the floor. Mo, I want a total lockdown. Nobody in or out. Apart from me, of course.
I needed to get back into the gallery, but a familiar figure was guarding the door. It was Sergeant Mou. Our paths had crossed before. Sergeant Mou was blocking the entrance to the gallery. Mou was the kind of cop that got places through obedience, not intelligence. Sergeant Mou, we meet again.
Aha, Madame Collard. An unexpected pleasure.
I was in the gallery at the time of the theft. Can I get back in?
I am sorry, but I am under strict orders from Inspector Navet. Nobody in, nobody out. And I must correct you, madame. It is no longer just a theft. It is a murder.
Mon Dieu! That poor man! I witnessed the crime. I've got to get back in there.
I'm sure you can make an official statement in good time.
I saw the thief. I think I can help the investigation.
I am implacable, Madame Collard.
Who is Inspector Navet?
The most promising young investigator on the force. A genius, a man blessed with almost superhuman insight.
He sounds highly perspicacious.
Madame, It is not for us to talk about the inspector's sweaty proclivities. He is about to solve his third case in as many days.
So, what's he got that the other investigators don't have?
Blood spatter. He is the world expert. He reads the entrails of the crime scene like a book.
I really need to get into the gallery and speak to Inspector Nave.
Tut. He is not to be disturbed. He is applying his famous scientific methods. Any moment now, the case will be cracked. I certainly hope so. I am dog-tired and want to go home.
I chased after the shooter and got a photo of him.
Inspector Nave will be delighted.
You've got to let me into the gallery to show him.
Absolutely not.
So, I cannot go in without Inspector Nave's permission?
No.
And to get Inspector Nave's permission, I need to go in.
Exactement.
Have you ever heard of Kafka, Sergeant Mu?
Madame Collard, I do not see what soccer players have to do with this.
No, he's a... Never mind. This was madness. Sergeant Mu wasn't going to let me in. Why are you so tired, Sergeant Mu?
I have been working for 3 days with no rest. Nave is a genius in his field, and he assumes that we all have his energy and vigor.
Oh, you poor man. If you'd like to go and get some sleep, I will watch the door for you.
That's very thoughtful of you. Ha! A cunning attempt to make me a deserter, madame. A gendarme never leaves his post.
Well, how about a hot drink?
Ah, that would do the trick for sure. Unfortunately, I mustn't drink on duty. My doctor specifically warned me against it after the last... incident.
That incident you mentioned, what happened exactly?
I don't want to talk about it. All I can say is it was very unfortunate. I am on duty, and I need to focus.
Here's my press card. Do you have a statement for the paper?
Yes, madame. Stay away from the crime scene and let the police do their job. And always leave a light on when you go out at night.
Thanks a lot, Sergeant Mu. You've been so helpful. The body was still in there. I had to get back inside. It was an office. The room was full of strange trinkets. The pissoir was decorative and unpleasant.
Madame,
Bonjour, monsieur.
whatever it is you want, we are closed.
Then why are you standing here?
You would not understand, madame.
Try me.
Because I look at you, and I know you are like all the others.
The others?
The pretty women who shop, who gossip, who have their spa days, their almond croissant.
That bad, huh?
And the men with their grooming products and their shiny shoes and their skinny suits who come to my cafe and ask me for lattes, macchiatos, frappés.
I see your point.
Is this what we fought on the barricades for, madame? Ripped up the paving slabs, bled on the streets.
Isn't it?
No, madame, it is not. We fought for ideas, for philosophy, for freedom, equality, fraternity.
Vive la révolution.
And do you know what drove us on as we fought? What fueled the streets of Paris in that glorious spring? What made our hearts soar?
Cheap wine and free sex?
No, madame, no! It was French Café Noir that inspired us. The simple demi-tasse, The black, sweet taste of freedom.
So that's why you closed?
Yes, madame. I serve only thinkers, philosophers, revolutionaries. And you, madame, with your polite top and your pointy ears, are none of those things.
This is a cafe.
Yes, to the right people.
On any other day, I would have given this guy a straight one to the chin. But there was a chance he could help me get into the gallery. Monsieur.
Life is fleeting, madame. The sands of time are running through your fingers.
Well, that may be, but...
We know not what we want, and yet we are responsible for what we are.
There's been a crime.
That is terrible, madame. But you know what they say.
No, but I think you're going to tell me.
Life begins on the other side of despair. C'est vrai, no?
Well, I guess so. He was pushing me to the point of despair.
During the riots, we battled the forces of oppression.
Oh, really? That must have been terrifying.
It was. Except that they made me stay behind the barricades with the other baristas. We made coffee by the liter to fuel the resistance. I've never brewed so much coffee. Of course, our brave heroes spent half their time going for a pee. But with our coffee inside them, they fought the running dogs all night long.
None of this was helping me get past Sergeant Mou.
Au revoir.
Monsieur.
The road to enlightenment is a long one, madame. Perhaps you will walk that road with me? Au revoir.
An intricate stained glass window, irresistible to any tourist. As always, Paris looked beautiful. My smartphone, possibly the journalist's most important tool. Here's my press card.
La liberté. Madame, you are not the person that I took you to be. You must accept my deepest, my most profound apologies.
Well, of course I accept. But why?
La Liberté, the great journal of freedom. At the height of the battle, as the tear gas blew and the blood flowed, it was La Liberté which carried the voice of our revolution to the world. I know now that you are not the kind of woman who would ask me for almond croissant. You are a true daughter of France, and I am your humble servant.
Monsieur.
Madame?
Could we have a little chat?
Any time, madame.
Did you see anything happen at the gallery earlier?
I saw you running after a pizza delivery guy. Somebody said he killed someone.
That's true. He stole a painting and shot the gallery owner.
How close we are to death. And yet how far from ever comprehending it.
Well, right now I need to get back inside and figure out what happened.
I applaud you, madame. To seek the truth is a worthy ambition.
As a journalist, that is my duty. How about some coffee?
For you, madame, of course. There is only one coffee that I can serve you. Black, strong, and in a tiny cup. One moment. Here is your coffee, madame.
Thank you, monsieur. The coffee was hot and strong. Could you make me a coffee to go?
For a fellow revolutionary? Of course, madame. One moment. Here's your takeaway coffee, madame.
Thank you, monsieur. The waiter didn't need to see my press card again. Sergeant Moo, I brought you a coffee.
Coffee? Fantastic. Just what I need. But wait. I must not. My little problem.
I'm sure one little cup of coffee won't hurt.
I am tempted, madame, but I cannot risk it. I am sorry.
So, this incident, it involved you, some coffee, and your little problem?
It is a tale of woe, madame.
I'm all ears, Sergeant.
Well, since you seem quite understanding, I shall elaborate.
Please do.
I was in charge of canine security for the President himself. One day, en vacances, he went for a private discussion with a lady minister. I stayed alone with his dog, but I had drunk a coffee to stay awake, and nature came to call. So I tied the dog to a tree and went for a secret pee-pee. When I came back, the dog was having a liaison dangereuse with the lady minister's terrier.
But how did they find out?
Well, 2 months later, the President's Labrador gave birth to 6 beautiful mongrels. And I was busted to sergeant just after the President's divorce came through.
You are a victim of a great injustice, Sergeant.
You think so?
But of course. You knew you must not fall asleep at your post. You were guarding the President himself.
Well, the President's dog.
Ah, it was the same thing.
Yes, I suppose.
And by drinking that coffee, you made the ultimate sacrifice for our glorious republic. Your career.
Now you put it like that?
And now France is calling you again. She is saying, drink, Sergeant Moo, drink!
She is?
She is. Drink or fall asleep at your post. Which is it to be?
I suppose it is drink?
Bravo, Sergeant!
Oh dear. Oh dear. Excuse me, madame. I must use the petit gendarme's room. It has gone straight through me. Could you watch the gallery door for me?
Oh, you can count on me, Sergeant. I distracted Moo. It was now or never.
How did you get past Sergeant Moo? Well, you won't fool me so easily, madame. I shall question you later.
Nico, am I glad to see you.
I managed to grab a couple of photos, but the guy got away.
Poor Henri is dead.
I know. Why kill him?
I've been trying to find out. Turns out the alarm was tampered with. It looks to me like an inside job.
So, no ordinary robbery?
And no ordinary painting. The priest claims that La Maledizio is evil. I need to get into the office and see what the CCTV has to offer.
So, what's the problem?
The inspector's watching me like a hawk. I'll never get in without some sort of distraction.
I'll see what I can do. Inspector Nave, I presumed. According to Moo, he was a CSI star, with a passion for blood spatter analysis. Inspector Nave, do you have a moment?
My time is of the essence. Be quick now.
I suppose this is quite a complex case, Inspector.
It is a robbery gone bad. Nothing more, nothing less.
Surely there's a bit more to it than that.
Please abstain from baseless conjecture, madame. The victim's body paints a simple picture, more reliable than any witness statement. Consider the impact of the bullet, and note the concomitant lack of blood. A casual homicide, nothing more.
Don't you find it odd that the thief chose that one particular painting?
Life is full of odd things, madame. Fingerless gloves, white dog poo-poo, nasal hair. I prefer to concern myself with murder.
Did you see the alarm was sabotaged?
I have interrogated the crime scene, madame. I am fully aware of the disabled security. I prefer biological evidence to the merely circumstantial. Body parts, blood, important things.
Don't you think the disabled alarm is highly suspicious, though?
The forensic team will be along shortly. Voice your concerns to them. Do not bother me with this circumstantial fliff-flaff.
Why don't you check out the security camera footage?
Madame, that is not my area of expertise. It is the body which concerns me.
But the CCTV footage is evidence. It could help identify the killer.
Correction, madame. It is but an indicator. The only true evidence is bodily fluid. Unless you know something I don't, then please leave me be.
The only evidence Inspector Nave seemed to appreciate involved gore. What do you think about the American, Georges?
He is deeply suspicious.
Could you give me a statement, Inspector?
Now is not the time, madame.
Thanks, Inspector. I'll let you know if I remember anything else. If I was going to distract Nave, I needed to unearth new evidence or concoct some. And the bloodier, the better. I'd never met the gallery owner before, but he sure didn't deserve this. Poor guy. There was a pizza box on the floor. The tomato sauce had splattered onto the floorboards. The tomato sauce had splattered on the floor. It was a blob of chewing gum, probably carried in on somebody's shoe. No way was I going to clean that up with my bare hands. It was the first time I'd had the displeasure of meeting Lane. Are you Hector Lane, the art critic?
Enchanté, madame. And which of the angels are you?
I'm Nico Collar, a reporter.
Ah, a fallen angel then, my favorite sort.
What can you tell me about the painting that was taken?
It was called La Malediccio, an unknown work that only recently surfaced.
Who was the artist?
A mysterious figure known only as El Serp. Some say he was a student of Picasso. He was good, but not great, and his true identity remains unknown.
What can you tell me about the theft?
Oh, it was truly awful. What do you want to know?
Have you spoken to Georges?
The American?
Yes.
He promised to clear up any misunderstandings the police might have about my presence here.
What can you tell me about Henri's involvement with the gallery?
Dear Henri, a shining diamond in the ordure that is the modern art business. He owned the gallery. What will we do without him?
Tell me about the shooting, monsieur.
Well, it all happened so fast.
Take your time. What did you see?
I can't be sure. Perhaps I could answer your questions over dinner.
I'm sorry, monsieur. I'm on a tight deadline. Did you see the thief?
I would have tackled him, but he was too quick for me.
Did you know that the alarm had been sabotaged?
No. How dreadful. I suppose that's why the alarm isn't ringing.
Here's my press card.
And there was I thinking you were too young and beautiful to be a reporter.
Thanks for your help, Monsieur Lane. I wasn't going to get anything useful from Lane. Father Simeon sat in the chair reciting his rosary. Excuse me, Father.
Father Simeon, my child.
Are you okay, Father?
It's a terrible shock, but yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Could I ask you some questions about the crime?
What kind of questions?
I'm a reporter for La Liberté.
I suppose it cannot hurt. Please ask away.
Why did you come to the gallery today, Father?
God brought me here. I saw the poster for the exhibition. I had to come.
What do you mean?
I knew there was great evil in La Maledictio. It was my duty to confront it. The painter was El Serp, the serpent, don't you see?
Evil? So what were you planning on doing here today?
I wanted to bear witness to anything that the devil would conjure.
Well, I think it was a no-show, Father.
Really? A man is dead, Miss Collard. I'd say his work here today is done.
That wasn't going to help my story. Did you see anything that might help identify the killer?
The devil takes many forms, child. I didn't get a good enough look, I'm afraid.
Anything would help.
I'm sorry, my dear. My mind was elsewhere.
What do you know about Henri?
An innocent victim, insofar as any of us are innocent. If he was peddling such blasphemous works as the El Serp painting, then who knows what other sins he was hiding.
Father Simeon was making me feel guilty. Priests always did that to me. What do you think about that stain?
Is that blood?
I think it's just sauce. I wonder if there's a mop anywhere.
We are facing death and divine retribution. This is no time for tidying up.
Father Simeon wasn't making much sense. What can you tell me about the painting?
Grotesque and evil.
How can a painting be evil?
By killing all who come into contact with it.
Does that mean we're next?
Laugh not at the devil's play, Miss Collard.
Do you know anything about the painter, El Serp?
He was a purveyor of blasphemy, a servant of the Antichrist.
How can you know that?
It is clear from his work.
Father Simeon was making a lot of assumptions. This is my press card. As I said, I work for La Liberté.
Good. Be sure to warn your readers that this painting is evil.
Thank you for your time, Father. The priest had nothing useful to offer. I liked it, but not enough to buy it. Nice use of color. Nice price tag. I couldn't use this painting to distract Inspector Neve, not without getting into more trouble anyway. The bust was striking. Georges was in pretty good shape. I hadn't seen him in a while. Georges?
Yeah, Nico.
So why do you need to get into the office again?
I'm pretty sure the robbery was an inside job, and I think the proof is in the office.
So, what's stopping you?
Super cop over there.
What if I create a distraction?
You do that, and I will let you have whatever I find.
That's a deal, Georges. Somehow, I had to get the inspector away from the office door. Georges?
Yeah, Nico.
You said you needed to get into the office?
And you said you were going to create a distraction.
A CCTV camera watched over the room. The gallery was already a mess. I didn't feel like tearing the poster down. It was clearly old, but still in good condition. Drawing attention to myself would be a bad idea. The gallery looked out over Paris. I scraped up the chewing gum with my press card, hoping the inspector wouldn't notice. Inspector!
Yes?
Do you really think this is a cut-and-dried case?
En effet, cut, dried, sealed, and delivered.
Do you know anything about La Malédiction?
It is a painting. It was stolen. Point?
Are you certain you don't want to investigate the alarm?
Unless you can show me new evidence, then please leave me to my work.
So you don't think the CCTV footage is useful?
I prefer a more visceral approach to the crime scene.
So you think Georges is a suspect?
As I said, I am not often wrong about such things, but I have already said too much.
Have you seen that stain on the floor by the door? What do you think it is?
I don't have time to waste discussing domestic hygiene. Please, leave me to my work.
Do you want this chewing gum?
Madame, I do not take bribes.
Thanks, Inspector. I'll let you know if I remember anything else. How about that for a distraction? I wondered whether it would be enough. Inspector!
Yes?
Have you seen the stain on the floor over there? It looks like blood.
Indeed. How very curious. I must investigate immediately, before one of these idiots steps in it. Interesting. Maybe it is time to employ the machine.
Okay, Georges. That should distract him for a while.
Nice work, Nico. I'll let you know what I find in the office. I was sure the inspector hadn't seen me slip away, but I needed to be quick, because it wouldn't take him long.
At last, Stobart.
Sorry, Mr. Rickenbacker. I've been busy.
Yeah, I damn well hope so. I'm watching the news.
Oh, anything interesting?
Yeah, someone stole a painting.
Oh, really?
And it was one you insured. What's going on?
Ah, yes. Well, the guy was armed, sir.
So?
You think I should have thrown myself in front of the thief, wrestled into the ground, got myself shot?
Sure would have made me feel better. Anyway, find that painting, or give me a good reason not to pay out. Please tell me that you have some leads.
I'm working on it. It was hard to tell if the lava lamp was retro or just plain old. The desk was covered in junk. There was a box of thumbtacks on the desk. I didn't like the idea of a pocket full of sharp pins. The business card listed the gallery's details. I didn't need a business card. It was a decorative pen, probably a gift to Henri. The pen could have been useful. Then again, it might have leaked all over my pocket. It was a corroded lighter. The lighter was corroded and grimy. It'd probably never work again. I decided to leave it. It was liquid ink. I had no idea they still sold this stuff. Carrying an ink pot around inside my pocket would have been stupid. The ink would have stained my hands for days. The switch controlled the small desk lamp. There was nothing special about the lamp switch. It was an Erasertron. I loved those. I didn't feel the need to take Henri's eraser. It was a reel of fragile tape. I didn't want to carry the tape around. I had a feeling I wasn't going to need it. It was the paper that Nico wrote for. Nico lived for the day her story would be on the front cover. It was the paper that Nico wrote for. It was a standard drawer. There was a document folder in the drawer. There was nothing else in the drawer. The document folder had a hairy lobster sticker on it. I had no idea what was inside. The folder looked interesting. This was very definitely tampering with evidence. It was a completion of work notice from a company called Vera Security. They weren't the guys we'd recommended. Henri had gone behind our backs to choose a different security outfit. I'd never heard of Vera Security, but there was an address and phone number on the form. It was a statue of Henri bearing almost everything. A strategically placed fig leaf protected his modesty. The statue was jaunty. Up close and personal, I could see that the fig leaf was hinged. Thankfully, there was no one around to see me do this. Very interesting. It was a sturdy-looking safe. I wasn't going to open the safe without the key. I was fairly sure that even Henri wouldn't be silly enough to keep it hidden in the office. I wasn't going to open the safe without the key. The street was quiet. The sofa had clearly taken some punishment over the years. There was a crumpled letter in the wastebasket. In the trash can, I found a crumpled letter from Henri's credit card company, demanding immediate payment. It listed extravagant purchases from a variety of ladies' fashion stores. The address indicated that Henri lived in the chic and expensive 16th arrondissement of Paris. I decided to put the letter back. Henri's financial problems weren't my business, but now I knew where he lived. A pair of evil eyes stared from a partially covered poster. It was a hookah pipe. Those things gave me a headache. Henri sure liked his clutter. A pair of evil eyes stared from a partially covered poster. The poster advertised a 1975 Stockholm Music Festival, headlined by a group called the Hairy Lobsters. It was an antiquated CCTV system. The CCTV system was ancient. It took individual shots and recorded them to tape. It looked like I needed to enter a passcode to view the recording. And there I was, thinking that Henri might have set such an obvious code. No such luck. I needed to find a 4-digit number. It was a pretty flamboyant-looking clock. Henri's notice board was covered with all kinds of junk. I didn't imagine Henri as a musician. Henri sure had his quirks. It was the hinged fig leaf, perhaps the most creative hiding place I'd ever seen. A naked lady stared at me seductively. The trinkets, the junk, the instruments. Henri was kind of a hippie at heart. The poster advertised a 1975 Stockholm Music Festival. I had no reason to search the desk again. The completion note from Vera's security. There was an address. It was my beloved phone. The calendar looked like a child's school project. Henri had ringed 27th May and scrawled birthday. Poor guy hadn't quite made it to his big day. Bingo. I rewound the tape to before the robbery. This was the first interesting frame. It was Henri studying La Malédiction. He couldn't have had any idea what was about to happen. Nico and I were taking a look at La Malédiction just before the robbery. Funny, the painting didn't strike me as remarkable at the time, just odd. A good view of La Malédiction. I could kind of see why Father Simeon thought it was evil. There was a certain presence about it. The killer caught in the act. There was nothing really distinctive about him. The moment it all went horribly wrong. The killer making his getaway. The painting was gone. There I was, taking a look at the alarm box. Hopefully I didn't look too suspicious. I hadn't thought about that when I was taking a look at the camera. That was the last shot. I realized I might have missed something from the earlier shots. That was the most recent image. Whoever was wearing that helmet was going to pay for what he did. A logo on the front of his helmet read Waterloo Motors. That could be useful. The alarm should have sounded when the killer took the painting, but it had been sabotaged. I wondered who could have done that. Maybe Lane, or even Henri himself. Or perhaps even Vera's security, who'd installed the system. Poor Henri. Why hadn't Henri backed down when the thief pulled the gun? If that was me, I'd have done whatever the guy wanted. The image was a little fuzzy, but in the center of the painting was what looked like a snake eating its own tail. I thought about what the priest said. There was definitely something unsettling about the picture. The next shot had a better view of the writing on his helmet. This frame caught the moment the killer took the painting. The CCTV had caught the killer in the act of lifting La Malediccio from the wall. He knew exactly which painting to take. The most striking aspect of the painting was a snake eating its own tail. The most striking aspect of the painting was a snake eating its own tail. It seemed that whenever Nico stepped back into my life, so did trouble. There I was, looking at the exhibition. The most striking aspect of the painting was a snake eating its own tail. That shot must have been before anyone else arrived at the gallery. Was Henri studying that picture, or did he look worried? There was definitely more to this robbery than I first thought. The most striking aspect of the painting was a snake eating its own tail. That was the earliest shot with anything interesting on it. He knew exactly which painting to take. Poor Henri. Whoever was wearing that helmet was going to pay for what he did. A logo on the front of his helmet read Waterloo Motors.
Monsieur, sir, you have snuck in here, and now you are tampering with my evidence.
I wasn't tampering with anything. I was just looking for clues.
That is my job, Monsieur...
Stobart. George Stobart. Paris Mutual. We insured the exhibition.
Oh, really? So, you have plenty to gain from the robbery.
Well, no. We have plenty to lose from the robbery.
Don't patronize me, monsieur. Only a fool wouldn't know how insurance works.
Yeah. No flies on you, Inspector.
Exactly. I have to get up very early in the morning, which means I can be sure to catch the worm.
So I see.
May I remind you, monsieur, that a serious crime has been committed. I am going to have to ask you to return to the gallery.
Of course, but I do need to ask you a few questions.
D'accord. But remember, anything you say can be used against you, Monsieur Stobart.
Okay, I'll bear that in mind. Do you know anything about a company called Vera Security?
No, I have never heard of them. Now, I must get on with my investigation.
It's very likely that the security camera holds a clue to the killer's identity.
Monsieur, I am a professional, and you are an amateur. So, leave the investigating to me, huh? Pal? Monsieur, you are American, no?
Yeah, California born and bred.
Of course. I think perhaps you are wanting to be like that Starsky and Butch, monsieur. No? Rolling around on top of fast cars with beautiful ladies, firing your gun.
Interesting idea, Inspector, but not really my style.
Indeed. Well, let me tell you something, monsieur. You are my prime suspect. You may go now, but I will need to speak with you again.
I had some valuable leads, but before following up on them, I had important business to attend to. Hey, Nico, you want to grab a quick cup of coffee?
Sure.
I am pleased to announce that I have finished my preliminary investigation. This is now an official crime scene, and you must all go. I shall be questioning all of you again in the coming days. Nobody is to leave the country, particularly you, Monsieur Stobart. Monsieur Lane will stay behind to help secure the premises. Mo?
Yes, Inspector.
Let them out.
Right away, sir.
Two coffees, please.
Nice work in there, Nico. Whatever you did, it worked.
I just made a tiny distraction, and Nave bought it.
I think Nave would buy anything if it had blood on it. You know, this whole setup, the theft, the murder, it just doesn't make sense.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I think it was an inside job.
Go on.
Someone disabled the alarm, but on just one painting.
Let me guess. La maledicción.
Exactly. And I aim to find out who did it. The CCTV picked up an image of the thief. His helmet had the words Waterloo Motors written across it.
Interesting. I think I got a couple of good shots of him too, but I need to take a better look at them at home.
Great. Let me know what you find. Well, the priest thinks La Maledicción is evil.
George, she's just crazy.
Yeah, you're probably right. But there's something strange going on. I found the address of the security company Henri employed. It was not the one that I recommended.
Good luck with your investigations. Well, I guess I should go. This story won't write itself. And George?
Yeah?
It's good to see you again.
Great to see you too, Nico. I watched her walk away. The sound of traffic, the sun shining, a crime to solve, and Nico back in my life. As I approached Henri's apartment, I started to doubt whether coming here so soon after his death was such a great idea. Parisian spring fashion. Reminds me why I love this city. I recognize the name Sasha from the charges listed in Henri's credit card letter. Tony's Brasserie. Looked expensive. Paris sure had a lot of similar-looking cafes. There was an intercom. It was the door to Henri's apartment.
Yes, who is it?
Excuse me, madame. This is George Stobart. Could I talk to you?
George, what?
George Stobart, madame. I'm from the insurance company.
For God's sake, did they have all this? I don't want to buy insurance.
No, I'm not selling, madame. It's about the gallery theft.
Oh, I see. You people move fast, don't you? This isn't a good time. I am so distraught.
Madame, Right. Now, that hadn't achieved much. It was the door to Henri's apartment. Unsurprisingly, the front door was locked. I decided not to call her again quite so soon. Nope, I needed to try something else. It was my beloved phone. The completion note from Vera's security. There was an address. The address led me to a dead-end alley at the end of a deadbeat mall. No wonder I'd never heard of Vera's security. The neon sign buzzed and blinked horribly.
Please don't touch the sign. You'll just make it worse.
The guy managed to look busy, even though he had no customers. Hi, I wonder if you can help me. I'm looking for Vera's security.
Yes, of course. It's the shop behind you.
Thank you. The name's George, by the way.
Call me Bassam. And do please forgive me, but I'm in no mood to talk. I have a resounding headache.
Bad migraine, eh?
The worst. The buzzing and flashing from the old sign is killing me. I thought the neon sign had potential until it broke.
Is it your sign?
No, the previous owners used to be a restaurant. But this is horrible. Adversely affecting my footfall and giving me a splitting headache.
You want me to try fixing that sign for you?
Do you know what you're doing?
I'm very good at fixing things.
Then please do. I'm no good at electricals. Marketing analysis and predicting trends is more my thing.
Smell this.
Ooh. At least it's the real thing.
Do you have any use for nail clippers?
No.
Bassam had already told me where Vera's security was. I took a good look at the sign. The wiring was exposed and the cover broken. No wonder it was flashing. It was a loose wire. No wonder the sign was flashing. I pulled the wire off. Well, that was one way to stop the letters flashing. Now only half the sign was illuminated. The buzzing and flashing has stopped.
And I am very grateful. But the sign still looks pretty terrible, doesn't it? When you're building a brand from the ground up, name is everything. I need a name that makes my customers long for adventure and treasures from faraway places.
I could take a look at your sign, come up with something.
You're like a genie from a magic lamp.
Tell me about your business idea.
This stall is going to put me through college, while giving me field experience. But the nonsense sign is working against me. It should spell a name for my shop. I need something original, yet familiar, bright and in your face, yet subtle and symbolic.
He struck me as more of an aftershave kind of guy. I decided to keep the wire. If Bassam knew how flimsy the sign was, he wouldn't be happy. Seemed the letters could be moved around. Shame it didn't have the right letters to spell Bassam. I'd have to think of something else. Aha! That seemed like a good name. Hey, Bassam, how about this? I know it's not your name, but...
Aladdin. Very cool. That's a terrific name for my store. Hits every one of my USPs.
Glad you like it.
You're a genius, George. Let me know if I can do anything for you.
Vera Security. It was the place I'd been looking for.
Help!
What's wrong?
There's a monster
What? Where?
on the floor. Get rid of it.
Oh, the cockroach.
Yes, the cockroach. Help!
It was a small table with an ashtray on it. Unusual these days. The ashtray was full of cigarette butts. The filters were gold-colored, very exotic. A crumpled cigarette pack. Romanov's, a Russian brand cigarette. The pack was empty. A full matchbox. As a child, I'd always been told not to play with matches, but I never could resist. The reason for the lady's distress was plain. A giant cockroach roamed the floor. Come here, little fella. I think cockroaches are kind of cute, but only kind of. I was never going to catch it with my bare hands. There were crumbs on the floor. No wonder the cockroach was sticking around. A plan started to form in my mind, but I would need the matchbox to be empty. I tipped out the matches. I set down my matchbox. Cockroaches like hiding in dark places. Not a bad idea when you think about it. Cockroach wasn't going for it. I needed some bait.
Aha, Mr. Stobart. What can I do for you?
Do you happen to know a good way to catch a cockroach?
To be honest, George, I'm better at questions on balancing budgets within a liberal economic framework. But as a layman, perhaps I could suggest you trap it? And please, whatever you do, don't squish it.
Why's that?
The entire family will catch the scent and arrive for the funeral.
Ooh, we don't want that.
You need to find a container of some sort. Then I think add this.
Rich tea. What's that, a cookie?
The perfect cockroach biscuit. Dry, dull, unsatisfying, and yet curiously Moorish.
I'll give it a try.
Glad to help.
Do you know anything about Vera's security over there?
Not really. I haven't been here long, but neither have they by the looks of it.
Why do you say that?
Rush setup, new sign, low investment, and no customers except for you.
I really like your new sign.
It's magnificent. I owe you one.
What do you think?
I'm over the moon, George. Thanks to you, I can now sell my retro cavalcade of musical cards, brushes, souvenirs. And you know what they say, happy sellers make happy shoppers.
So what are you selling?
Ah, I'm glad you asked. I sell all those things you can't get anywhere else in Paris.
Like?
English biscuits, Turkish delight, French cassettes, Brazilian Betamax videos.
Thank you for the cookie.
You're very welcome.
I've got some matches.
Always good to have.
I added some bait to the matchbox. Even I was finding it hard to resist that little trap.
Gotcha!
You are a gentleman and no mistake. I hate cockroaches.
Always ready to help a damsel in distress.
I bet you are. Can I help you?
Yes, please. Do you know if there's anyone in the office I can talk business with?
Yes, me, chérie. I'm Annette, the manager.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean... The gloves. I just thought...
Ah, easy mistake to make. If you haven't been reconstructed, that is.
Oh, but I have been reconstructed. A number of times. From the ground up.
She might talk to me now. The Vera phone. All expenses had been spared. Even the plant looked depressed. The office drawers. There might be something useful in there.
Look, do you mind not touching the office equipment?
Annette's peripheral vision was, quite simply, astounding.
What can I do for you?
There's been a theft at Le Lézard Bleu. A painting's been stolen.
Shame. Still, I'm sure you'll get over it.
I believe your company set up the security.
Oh, no, we didn't.
Oh, yes, you did.
Didn't.
Did.
I've got all day.
But I didn't.
Do you recognize it?
Oof! That would take the hair off your legs. I had a boss who wore that. Know what I mean?
Do these clippers look familiar?
Yes. I mean, no. Why should they look familiar?
It says here that Vera was hired to do the security of the gallery. Didn't do a very good job, did you?
Where did you get that?
At the gallery.
That job was signed off. You can't say we were to blame.
I was getting a bad feeling. The place looked like a front, and the only person there wasn't helping. Maybe the office itself could give me more information.
Are you done? Only I want to listen to this next race. No thanks.
I've got a cookie.
Those dry things are disgusting.
I've got some matches.
Yes, I saw you pick them up. Keep them. I can't afford to smoke anymore.
I caught the cockroach. Look, isn't he a sweetie?
Ah! Keep it away from me!
Thanks. I wasn't going to talk to Nico about this place with the manager listening in. Hello, Mr. Rickenbacker? Henri used a different security company from the one I recommended, Vera Security. I'm there now. It's a pretty low-grade outfit.
Well, find out what you can.
Hello, Vera Security. We make you secure.
And that had a radio on. Sounded like a horse race.
Wrong number again. Damn nuisance calls. Hello, Vera Security. We make you secure. Wrong number again. Damn nuisance calls.
It was a little black book, and they are always interesting. I wanted to see what secrets the book might contain. There was a photo. Of course, I grabbed it. A very bad photo of Lane in a net. That guy sure got around.
What can I do for you?
Are you betting on a horse?
No, I just like hearing the sound of hooves.
Oh, well, that's unusual.
Don't be an idiot. I got 50 euros on Lucky Break.
Ah, well, I hope you win.
So do I, Sherry. So do I.
Recognize this?
Hey, that's my photo.
That's you with Lane, I believe.
So, what if it is?
What is he to you?
Oh, my Hector, that's what he is. My little Hector.
Yeah, I thought you said you had nothing to do with the gallery.
Look, here's how it is. I've only been here a few weeks. I had nothing to do with that gallery job. I just delivered the paperwork.
So, who's the manager before you?
I don't know. She just, one day, didn't come in for work. I shouldn't be talking to you. The boss told me to keep my mouth shut.
The boss. Have you got his number or address?
No, I've forgotten it. I mean, I never knew it.
Annette, a serious crime has been committed. You're in a lot of trouble.
I had nothing to do with it. Look, I need this job. I need the money. Anyway, it's only a silly old painting. No one got hurt.
The gallery owner was shot.
Badly?
Yeah, he's pretty dead.
Oh.
This is a murder investigation. Now, who's your boss?
I don't know. Honest, he faxes me if he wants anything.
He? Who's he?
I've never seen him, never met him. Don't make trouble for poor Annette.
Thanks. I was pretty sure Annette had told me all she was going to. She sounded scared. Time to put the thumbscrews on Lane, and I knew just how. Time to confront Lane. The gallery was sealed off. The place looked empty. Lane wasn't exactly easy to miss, and it looked like he wasn't around. Hi.
Monsieur?
I'm looking for Mr. Lane. Has he been here?
Ah, yes, monsieur. He came by earlier. Told me he was off to console Henri's widow. I hope she's out.
Hi.
Monsieur?
Do you recognize the woman in this photo?
She was here the other night with Lane. They sneaked away to the gallery together, without paying their bill.
My suspicions of Lane were mounting, but I didn't really think he had it in him. I found this piece of wire.
That is remarkable. You just found something like that? Who would discard something as useful as a piece of wire?
I had a feeling the waiter was being sarcastic. You want a cookie?
You misunderstand the concept of the café, monsieur.
What do you think of these matches?
I prefer a lighter.
Look what I've got.
Monsieur, please. If the health inspector sees that, I'll be closed down.
So Lane was consoling the widow. What a big heart that guy had. Did he have a grand scheme or just loose morals?
Hello?
This is George Stobart. May I come up?
I'm sorry, this is a very inconvenient time. Come back later.
I know that's you, Mr. Lane. I need to talk to you. Mr. Lane, does the name Annette mean anything to you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I need to talk to Madame Dubois.
I'm sure it can wait.
Mm-hmm. If you don't let me in, I'll tell the police about your interesting connection to the security company.
All right then. Come up, but make it brief.
Dear Lord, George, you have the worst timing.
Is this a bad time to accuse you of lying?
What do you want?
I've just come from Vera's security.
So?
What do you know about the owner of Vera's security?
I've never had the pleasure.
Tell me about Annette.
Who?
From Vera Security.
I don't know any Annette.
I'm surprised you let your conquests keep souvenirs.
Ugh. Where did you get that?
Annette lent it to me.
Quit waving it around, for God's sake.
Can you tell me anything about the owner of Vera?
Annette told me he's some angry-looking Russian chap.
Come on, Lane. Tell me about Annette.
All right. I had a fling with her, okay? Now keep your voice down, please.
And you two fixed the security for the robbery?
No, nothing like that. Anyway, the fling was a mistake. She turned out to be rather needy.
I believe you. You're not a criminal, just a lecherous old man.
Less of the old, if you don't mind. As it happens, I make a lot of women happy.
Especially when you leave them. Okay, Lane, take off.
You can't tell me what to do.
You want me to show Bijou this picture?
All right, I'm going. You haven't heard the last of me, Stobart.
Promise?
And give me that photo.
If Lane was telling the truth, that meant that Annette was lying. She said she'd never met the owner and was very keen to get rid of me. I wondered if she was hiding something interesting in that back office.
Are you going to introduce yourself properly?
Pleased to make your acquaintance, madame. My name's George Stobart.
Call me Bijou.
Bijou didn't look too distressed.
Hello, young man. Such a delight to have a new visitor. What can I do for you?
I'm from the insurance company. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Henri, my poor sauvage. He died in his prime.
Could I just ask you a few questions?
Well, why not? A little company might just pep me up, as you Americans might say.
Henri was very brave at the gallery. He tried to stop the thief and paid the ultimate price.
Henri was my lion and my little pussycat.
How are you coping?
I'm still trying to take it in, chérie.
Can you tell me about the gallery? Was the business doing well?
The gallery was Henri's baby. He never spoke to me about it.
So you weren't involved?
Not at all. Business is not my thing.
Your record player seems to be stuck on the same song.
Yes, this song gives me great comfort. It reminds me of Henri.
Bijou, I think someone involved with the gallery helped the thief. It wasn't Hector Lane. He's not devious enough.
But who else?
I don't know. But I will get to the bottom of it, I promise you. Does this smell good to you?
It's heavenly, isn't it? Henri loved it. So?
Do you know this company, Vera Security?
No, I don't. I've never heard of them. Why do you show that to me? Why do you show that to me?
Rich tea?
Why is it broken?
I was feeding it to a cockroach.
I think perhaps I'll pass.
Hey, this might cheer you up. Say hello to Trevor.
A cockroach?
I prefer the word pal.
And I prefer the word pest. Please never show it to me again.
Thank you for your help, Bijou.
My pleasure, young man. Do come back any time.
Bijou appeared to know nothing. I still couldn't discount Lane. Annette, on the other hand, had lied about Vera Security's owner. Henri was now dressed in a cheap suit. On balance, I prefer the waistcoat. Two lovers entwined reminded me of that party game with the mat. The artist was entering his cubist phase. A subtle birthmark was the only blemish on the model's flawless skin. The subject looked vulnerable as she clasped her knees. You have a beautiful home, Bijou.
Oh, thank you. I do like beautiful things.
The view through to the Bois de Boulogne was stunning. America is my country, and Paris is my hometown. The subject stared casually out at the world. The cluttered dressing table was covered with mysterious things.
Chérie, please don't touch my table. I keep everything in perfect order.
I've always loved antique music boxes. It was an antique music box.
Please don't touch my things.
The stereo was playing the same tune over and over again. A small stuffed dog sat on the table. Poor creature. Was that a tear in its glassy eye? Can I ask you a few questions?
Truth or dare?
Truth.
And there was I hoping you'd say dare.
Henri looks very peaceful.
Doesn't he? I wish I could keep him here forever.
They say it gets easier with time.
Oh, Henri, I miss you.
Anything else you can tell me about the gallery?
No, I rarely went there. As I said, Henri took care of everything.
What's the song called?
Jasmine, by the Hairy Lobsters. Before your time, I'm sure. It's a band that Henri fronted in the 70s. They got to number 2 in the Swedish charts.
Big time, huh? Is that a painting of you?
Yes, darling. Though obviously he got my hips completely wrong.
Who painted it?
Oh, some acquaintance of Henri's. I don't recall his name.
What's the story behind the stuffed dog?
Oh, Fifi. I was heartbroken when she went. I had her preserved so that we could be together forever.
That's very touching.
Isn't it?
Quite unusual these days to bring the coffin home.
Henri loved a good wake. Said they were better than any party.
Huh. Thank you for your help, Bijou.
My pleasure, young man. Do come back any time.
Night was falling. Annette would have left for the evening. It was time to pay a visit to Vera's security. The empty mall was lit by bright moonlight, the perfect ambiance for a little detective work. I wanted a good look at that back office. I just had to find a way in. The empty box had been left out overnight, and no one would have wanted to steal it. It looked like a very sturdy shutter. I'd have to operate the controls to open it. There was no way I could force the shutter open with my bare hands. I needed to find another way. Rearranging the sign had been a stroke of genius, even if I do say so myself. All Bassam's stuff was safely locked away. The cast iron girder spanned the alleyway. I knew that if I could get to the girder, I could reach the electrical box. To get any further, I'd need to remove the lid. I popped the lid open. Inside was an aircon unit and, bingo, the master controls for the shutters. I'd cut the wire in half. I hoped I was doing the right thing. That was close. The wire was live. The aircon blade was exposed. It was the power supply. It was the master controller for the shutters. I'd cut the wire in half. I hoped I was doing the right thing. In the drawer was a single Q-tip. It was my lucky day. It hadn't been used. Annette wasn't around. I could finally get into the back office. The room was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. It was a light switch. In the corner of the room was a pizza delivery scooter, just like the one the killer had escaped on. Oil had dripped from the scooter onto the floor. It was the shredder. The letter was partially shredded. There was a letter jammed in the shredder. The shredder just had one button. The shredder was jammed. The gears had seized up. I smeared some oil onto the cotton bud. It was a pizza delivery scooter. The box was empty. Annette had cleared everything out. Just mess and empty boxes. Through the grill, I could see something glinting, but it was too dark to tell what it was. The air vent had a tiny catch on the side. I smeared the gears with oil. There was a letter jammed in the shredder. I reckoned the oil would do the trick. It was time to see what was in the letter. It was the letter from Henri confirming that Vera's security had the contract for the exhibition. And it also revealed who was in charge at Vera. A guy called Medovsky. At first glance, it all seemed pretty run-of-the-mill. But why was Henri thanking Medovsky for being generous? And why was he pleased to represent him? Maybe Medovsky was the owner we'd been looking for. It didn't add up. I had a gut feeling. There was something fishy going on. I pocketed the letter and paperclip. The paperclip was perfect for the job. There was definitely something in there. Now, what are you? Gotcha. Well, would you believe it? It was a gun, and very likely the one that had been used to shoot Henri.
Aha! So, what have we here? L'Américain, Monsieur Stobart. You will rue the day you crossed my path, because now you are caught in my net like a little red herring.
Inspector, I'm investigating the robbery.
No, monsieur. You are breaking and entering an innocent storeroom.
I found the murder weapon.
Found? No. Planted? Yes. Moo, arrest this man and take him to the station. I shall squeeze you, Monsieur Stobart, until your pips squeak.
Thanks, Ronnie. I just wish I'd got some better shots of the killer.
Are you kidding? That stuff from the hip, very dramatic. You did good, Nico.
So, what's next?
Get me an interview with the owner, and you've got Sunday's front page.
I'm on it already.
Keep me up to speed. Let me know before you write anything up, okay?
Of course. Oh, gotta go. Someone at the door. Monsieur?
Are you Nicole Collard?
Yes, can I help you?
I need to sit down.
You'd better come in. The old man was out of breath. It was full of paperwork. It was my computer. The envelope held the photos I took at the robbery. I'd already chosen the best photo for my article. I didn't need to look at them again. Would you like a glass of wine?
Yes, those stairs are a nightmare. That's better.
So, what can I do for you, monsieur?
My name is Tiago Marquez. I saw your report on the robbery. I found your address. I came straight away. I needed to see you.
And why is that?
The stolen painting, La Malédiction. It belongs to me.
Ronnie had wanted me to interview the owner, and now here he was. Or rather, he was somebody who claimed to be the owner. So the stolen painting is yours. Tell me more.
La Malédiction belonged to my family in Catalonia in the 30s, before the Civil War.
So what was it doing here in Paris?
The fascists stole it in 1938. They killed my father, but not me. I escaped. I have been looking for it ever since. You have to help me find it.
Tell me about yourself.
I am Tiago Marquez, the rightful owner of La Malédiction. What else is there to tell?
You traveled all the way from Catalonia?
No, since the war, I've lived in France, in the southwest, and now I want the painting back.
Did you lose all your family in the Civil War?
When they came for us in 38, I fled with my mother, but my father was not so lucky.
I'm sorry.
I would have stayed and fought for freedom, but I was just a boy.
You've got my attention, but if I'm to help you, I need more to go on.
I have something. This old photograph. It is of me and my family. See the painting above the fireplace?
Yes, it's La Malédiction. The photograph suddenly appeared to link the old man to the painting.
You took the photographs at that robbery, huh?
I did, yes.
I need to see them.
Why?
Please, I must see them.
All right. Here they are. This one was rejected. George got in the way. Typical.
Who is this George?
Just a friend. He insured the painting.
So, he will know who is this liar who claims to own my painting.
I don't think he does. He would have told me. This is the best shot I took. They used it in the paper.
Yes, it is how I recognize La Malédiction, my painting.
It does look like the one in your photograph.
So close, but now it is lost again.
Here's the thief making off with the painting.
What is that tattoo on his arm?
Looks like a skull and crossbones. Headhunters,
You will find him, and then you will find my painting.
I can try, monsieur.
You must, mademoiselle.
This shot didn't come out too well.
It's perfect.
Perfect?
Finally, La Malédiction, in all its splendor. The lines, the color,
The detail. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Then take it. That shot is no good to me.
Really? Thank you, mademoiselle.
Marquez's story was very interesting, but I needed to corroborate it. I wondered if the gallery kept ownership records. And while I didn't wholly trust him, this was the one lead that I didn't want to lose. Where are you staying?
What? Nowhere. Here, perhaps.
I didn't want him to stay in my apartment. There was another solution. My neighbor is out of town for a few days. You could stay there.
Yes, that would be good. Thank you.
Great. Let's go. Adam said that he would leave the spare key under the mat. It was just a doormat. My neighbor had left a key for me under the doormat, which reminded me I hadn't watered his plants for a week. The key wasn't there. There was a large gap between the floorboards. The gap was wide, but not wide enough for my fingers. Using the sticky chewing gum, I was able to fish out the key.
This will do.
Glad it's up to standard. I have to go out, monsieur. Ronnie had promised me the front page if I got an interview with the painting's owner. And here was a crazy Spaniard claiming to be just that. I needed to find out who had put the painting up for sale. Maybe there was more to find at the gallery. Len was sitting outside the cafe. He looked dazed. The waiter was still contemplating the universe. Hi.
So it is you, madame. There is no coffee. It bores me now. There is cola, or beer, or champagne.
No thanks, I'll pass.
That is your choice, and you have exercised it.
It was Hector Lane, art critic extraordinaire. Hello, Monsieur Lane.
Ah, the delectable Nicole Collard, super sleuth. How may I be of service?
I was hoping I'd find you here.
Always available for a lovely lady such as yourself.
Henri's death, it must be so very hard for you.
Yes, I shall miss him deeply. We had such a very special relationship. The loss is so hard to endure, even for a man of such inner strength as myself.
What do you know about the owner of La Malédiction?
That was Henri's business. He found the painting and did the deal with the owner.
Would anybody else know anything about the owner?
Not likely. He kept especially quiet about that one. But he always kept a manifest for every exhibition.
You mentioned a manifest. How would one get a look at that?
One might start in the office. That's where Henri kept most of his paperwork.
I'm writing a follow-up piece on a gallery theft.
Ah, so you need an inside view. Authoritative.
Something like that.
The police have finished in the gallery. We could chat in the office. It's much more comfortable. More intimate. I might even be able to rustle up a little bottle of champagne.
That sounds great.
We can discuss my ordeal over a glass of champagne.
A cozy chat with Lane was the last thing I wanted. But it was my best hope if I wanted to get a look around the office. So, what are we waiting for?
After you, my dear.
The place was heaving with junk. Finding what I wanted wouldn't be easy. As Lane sat down, something stuck out from beneath the cushion. It looked like a folder. Whatever it was, the police had missed it. I needed to get it.
Come, join me on the couch. I'm ready for you. You will be gentle with me, won't you?
Oh, I'm never gentle, Monsieur Lane.
Oh. Oh. Do call me Hector.
Lane hadn't noticed the folder. With that amount of padding, who would? The only way to get hold of it was to distract him. Lane was taking up more than his fair share of the sofa. Monsieur Lane?
Hector, please.
So you really don't know who owns this up?
I'm sorry, my dear, I really don't.
I see Henri had a statue of himself.
Yes, for a man of high aspiration he had alarmingly low taste. Nevertheless, I shall miss him. We were like family.
What will happen to this place now?
Henri's widow will decide, poor soul. She may find it in her heart to keep me around.
Oh, I'm sure she will. Is there anything you can tell me about the painting?
It was an absolute treat to come across it. A true undiscovered gem.
There's no denying it is a fantastic painting. What can you tell me about the religious significance?
Of course, there is a deep religious symbolism locked within the painting, too. Central to this must be the pantheon of saints.
Oh, Hector. Perhaps I will join you in that glass of champagne.
But of course, champagne, nature's balm in troubled times.
To new friends.
To love. Oh, mon Dieu, that is so cold!
Oops, silly me. I am so sorry.
I'll have to dry this off. Don't you worry, my dear.
In the folder was a list of all the paintings in the exhibition. La Malediccio had to be there. It was. And next to it was the owner's name, Mr. Medovsky. The police had obviously not spotted the folder. I put it back. I had what I needed for my story. Monsieur Lane, thanks for everything. But I think I hear my editor calling.
Ma chérie, no need to leave so soon. It's only a little spillage.
And I found out who claims to own La Malediccio. Some guy named Medovsky. Sounds Russian, right?
Medovsky, my god.
Who is he?
He's new on the oligarch block. Fresh into London from Russia, with ambition and a bloody reputation. Collard, this is way over your head. I'm gonna put a more experienced crime journalist on the story. I can't afford for you to get hurt.
Relax, Ronnie. This is my story. Leave it with me. Let's discuss it over lunch tomorrow.
Okay. But don't do anything more. See you tomorrow.
Ronnie didn't trust me on this story, but I wasn't going to let him give it to someone else. I was going to have to move fast. Come in. Hi, Georges. Great to see you.
Hope you don't mind me just dropping in.
No, not at all. How are you getting on?
Pretty good. I found the gun that was used in the robbery.
I'm impressed.
Yeah? Well, Nave wasn't. He accused me of trying to plant it, and then of being involved in Henri's death. Then he threw me into a cell. He couldn't make a stick, of course, so he had to let me go this morning. But he's convinced I'm involved. So if I put a foot wrong, he'll nail me next time. But, hey, on the bright side, have I got a story for you. Annette, the manager at Vera Security, lied about the owner of the company. When I pieced together that shredded letter, I got a name, Medovsky.
Medovsky! That's the same guy who claims to own La Malediccio.
What? He owns the painting and Vera Security? He has to be the one behind this whole scam.
You're telling me? We have to be sure.
What the?
I cannot sleep on that bed. It is too soft.
Georges, this is Senor Marquez.
Nice to meet you.
So you are this George, huh?
Senor Marquez is staying in the apartment across the hall. Apparently, he's the real owner of La Malediccio.
What? I thought you said Medovsky was the owner.
Senor Marquez claims the painting was stolen from his family during the Spanish Civil War.
Really? Do you have any proof?
Senor Marquez, could you show him the photograph?
Who's this?
My father. When they came for us in 38, I fled with my mother. But my father was not so lucky.
Who's this?
My mother. A good woman. A saint.
How can we prove this is you as a child?
The dates would tie up, Georges.
That's definitely La Malediccio hanging on the wall?
It belonged to my family, so it belongs to me.
If the painting really was stolen during the 1930s, then this Medovsky guy has no legitimate claim to it. But how can I be sure that you're the boy in that picture?
I can prove it. Look at my father in the photograph. You see the medallion he's wearing? He gave it to me just before he died. This medallion has been in our family for hundreds of years.
It's definitely the same medallion. A snake eating its own tail. That's also on the painting.
It is the Ouroboros.
The what?
The Ouroboros. It is a sign of my people, my family, my faith. The Gnostics. My father was a Gnostic leader. La Malediccio is sacred to the Gnostics. Hence they both display the Ouroboros.
A priest I met said the painting was the devil's work. A thing of evil.
Ha! He would say that. Do not believe all you hear from the church. Whatever you think, the painting is mine.
If Marquez was the true owner of Malediccio, then Medovsky had no legal claim to it. Might be tough to prove, but if I could, we wouldn't have to pay out on the insurance. So, if the painting belongs to you, how did Medovsky get it?
The fascists stole it. It went to Madrid, then Berlin, then, after the war, to Moscow. After that it was lost, until now.
We need to talk to this Medovsky, but how do we find him? Nico looked excited. The gallery story could be the break that she craved. Marquez had let himself into Nico's apartment. Hey, Nico?
Yes, George?
What do we know about this Medovsky character?
Ronnie said he was dangerous and very rich. He claims to be the owner of La Maledicción.
And appears to be the boss of Vera's security who were supposed to protect it. Now that kind of figures. The best way to steal something is to get hired to look after it. But why steal a painting you already own?
We need to talk to this guy.
To do that, we need to find him. So let's go over what we know about the thief.
Okay, well, he had a distinctive tattoo on one arm.
And his helmet had Waterloo Motors across it.
Not a lot to go on.
Why would somebody steal their own painting?
Insurance scam? But then why kill Henri?
I get the impression that Henri was somehow involved. I found the gun that Henri was shot with at Vera's security.
If Medovsky owns Vera Security, it means that he must know the killer.
Well, it can't be Annette, but she has to be involved in some way. You said the thief had a tattoo.
On his arm, it was a skull and crossbones with headhunters written around it.
We need to track down Waterloo Motors.
Have you tried the internet?
I've been kind of busy.
Okay, let's have a look. Waterloo Station, Battle of Waterloo, Waterloo Kebabs, Waterloo Sunset. Ah, here we go. Waterloo Motors. It's a garage in London. I'll send the number to your phone.
Senor Marquez.
Yes, George?
So, La Maledicción belongs to your family?
It did. Once it was stolen, I did not believe I would ever see it again.
You must have been excited to see the painting again.
It was a miracle.
You mentioned the Gnostics. What can you tell me about them?
It is not important. A religious sect, that is all. My family were Gnostic. They were a peaceful, good people.
Hey, Senor Marquez. Meet Trevor.
He is a cockroach in a box.
He's my new pet. I'm getting rather attached to him. I found some evidence that ties Henri to the dodgy security company.
That doesn't surprise me. It sounds as though the whole thing was set up.
I found this completion note for the security work done at the gallery. They went against my recommendations.
And now my painting has been stolen.
What do you think of this?
I would not use it to clean my shoes, monsieur.
Well, to be honest, neither would I. Do you need to borrow my nail clippers?
I prefer to bite my nails, monsieur.
I don't suppose you have any use for a match.
Why would I?
You want a cookie, Senor Marquez?
No, it has been in your pocket and is falling to pieces.
I found this paper clip. It's got to be useful for something.
I imagine if you have any paper you need clipped.
Nico?
Yes?
I'm convinced that Annette knows more than she's letting on.
Of course. but she's probably just trying to protect herself. Ronnie said that Matovsky was dangerous.
The theft just doesn't add up.
We'll get to the bottom of it, George.
So, Waterloo Motors is a garage in London. That's a surprise.
Yes, I sent you their phone number.
Smell this.
Oh, zut alors, I had an uncle who used to wear that. Maman told me to watch out for him.
Do you want to borrow these clippers?
Word of advice, George. Never say that on a first date.
What do you think of this, Nico?
I don't know. Do you think it might be useful?
Here's the proof that Henri was involved in the robbery.
Interesting, but it doesn't help us find the killer.
What do you think of this, Nico?
I think you have an insatiable habit for collecting things, George.
I'm pretty surprised this cookie is held up so well in my pocket.
Gotta work on the small talk, George.
Hey, Nico, have I introduced you to Trevor?
Oh, get that horrible thing away.
This paperclip is bound to come in useful. I just know it.
Well, you've surprised me before, George. I'd keep it.
Mr. Rickenbacker?
What now, Stobart?
I've got some interesting news to tell you.
Out with it.
I found a shredded letter that seems to implicate Henri and some guy named Medovsky.
Well, that's one piece of good news.
I met a guy called Marquez who claims to be the original owner of the painting.
So, I could claim to own it too.
This guy has a photo of it from his childhood. He's also got a story about how it was stolen from him during the Spanish Civil War.
If that's the case, then the insurance would be invalidated.
That's what I thought.
So dig a little deeper into that story.
Vera's security had disconnected their phone. There was no point in calling.
Waterloo Motors.
Hi,
How can I help you?
my name is George Stobart. I'm investigating a murder that was committed here in Paris.
What's that got to do with us?
The guy we're looking for was wearing a helmet with Waterloo Motors on it.
Oh yeah. It's a very popular helmet.
I don't suppose you know who might have bought one?
Well, not unless you've got any more information, mate.
The killer had a tattoo on his arm. It said, Headhunters.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, he bought one of our helmets just the other day.
Terrific. Do you know his name?
Nah. Brings his boss's Merc here to have it serviced. Word to the wise, though. I hear he don't mess about. The car's registered on Dutchy Street, if there's any help. I mean, that's all I know, mate, sorry.
No, that's more than enough. You've been a great help. Thanks for your time.
See ya.
Bingo!
Good work. That has to be the guy. And now we've got his address.
How about a trip to London?
I thought you'd never ask. Senor Marquez, will you be okay here?
The bed is uncomfortable. But it will do. Come back quickly with the painting, eh?